Let's do the jersey thing first. I say that because it's easy to find stuff on New Jersey. And New Jersey's a team that's interesting based on the fact that they moved around a lot. They were the Kansas City Scouts. I've got a hat for them. And then they were the Colorado Rockies, right here. And then they became the New Jersey Devils. And it's another one of those funny things how I was a fan as a little kid of the Colorado Rockies because they were terrible. And I wanted to see them get better. I guess with them being in the same division as the Canucks, and the fact the Canucks were in the same position, I had a soft spot for the Colorado Rockies. When they moved to Jersey, things were not great. And I think that's actually in the Rivals magazine, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I found it. Wayne Gretzky versus the New Jersey Devils. It was like one of those South American revolutions, said a 1983-84 Devils player. Billy was in Chicago at a Board of Governors meeting, and boom, the whole government changed overnight. It's hard enough to lose, harder even when the score is lopsided, and harder again when the greatest player in the game rubs salt in your wounds. But that's what happened on November 19th, 1983, when the New Jersey Devils visited the Edmonton Oilers. The 83-84 season wasn't exactly a banner one for the Devils. 2 years removed from a move out of Colorado and coming off a 17-win campaign, so for the whole season, 17 wins. The Devils were just trying to make some headway in the Garden State. When New Jersey limped into Edmonton to play the juggernaut Oilers, the Devils did so with a record of 2-17. After a 13-4 drubbing, Wayne Gretzky ripped the Devils right to their core, calling the franchise a Mickey Mouse operation that was ruining hockey. Ouch. I happened to be coaching that game, said Marshall Johnson, an assistant coach with the Devils under Billy McMillan in early 1983. It was in the third period, and we got a penalty. Out came Wayne and Yeri Curry and Coffey and Glenn Anderson, and then, of course, after the game, there was that comment. So Gretzky, who had 3 goals and 8 points on the night, and the Oilers weren't exactly taking it easy on the Devils, on the ice or off of it. There was more depth to Gretzky's comment, but it was Mickey Mouse operation that made hockey headlines. It didn't matter what he meant or didn't mean. That characterization was all anyone cared about. He was young at the time, and I'm sure he didn't expect it to have the repercussions it did, Johnson said. But it did. 3 days later, after the Gretzky comment, Devils owner John McMullen cleaned house, firing coach GM McMillan and player personnel director Burt Marshall. Johnson was moved upstairs from behind the bench to become New Jersey's new director of player personnel. The owner was embarrassed, Johnson said, as we all were. Gretzky later clarified his statement, however, taking a long view. The Devils are going to lose a lot of games, he said. They're going to have an empty building soon, and we're going to be without another team. I hope for the league's sake the Devils turn it around. They didn't, at least not that season, finishing with a 17-56-7 record, good for second last overall. To add insult to injury, by finishing with 3 more points than Pittsburgh, New Jersey missed a chance to draft Quebec junior Mario Lemieux. We were struggling as it was, and there were a lot of games where we felt embarrassed. Everyone would try to do their best, and it wasn't good enough. That was the bottom line. That's what happened, Johnson said. If the players wouldn't or couldn't push back, what few Devils fans there were did, in a manner of speaking. When the Oilers made their next visit to East Rutherford, New Jersey supporters were there with Mickey Mouse masks on. I remember that. I do remember that. So we'll go from that to this. The best Devils franchise. One of their 3 Stanley Cups. The New Jersey Devils of 99-2000. In the mind of former Devils winger Randy McKay, the 99-2000 New Jersey team was more talented than the 94-95 team that won the organization's first Stanley Cup. Well, yeah, big time. In 95, a lot of things went right for us, said McKay. In 2000, we had a lot more speed and more talent from top to bottom. Forwards Peter Sikora and Bobby Halik were smart and steady. Blue liners Scott Stevens and Scott Niedermayer played tough, responsible defensive hockey. Goaltender Marty Brodeur was an all-star, and GM Lamoriello repatriated veteran Claude Lemieux from Colorado. As well, young players such as center Scott Gomez and defenseman Brian Rafalski emerged as key contributors. The Devils' season had its share of lows. They lost 10 of 16 games starting in mid-February, and with 8 regular season games remaining, GM Lamoriello replaced head coach Robbie Ftorek with assistant coach and former NHL great Larry Robinson. Robinson's player-friendly approach was manna from heaven to a team worn down by Ftorek's iron-fisted ways. The results of the relaxed yet focused Devils were on display. New Jersey swept Florida in the first round, dispatched Toronto in 6 games in the second, then rallied to beat Philadelphia in the third. In the Cup final, New Jersey faced the defending champion Dallas Stars. The Devils stomped Dallas in Game 1, but the Stars fought back with a triple overtime 1-0 win. And their triple overtime 1-0 win in Game 5 extended the series to a 6th game in Dallas, which New Jersey won on a double overtime goal by Jason Arnott. That was worded really weirdly. That's why I kind of lost track halfway through that sentence. I thought they were going to Game 2 there. To Lemieux, the Devils' 99-2000 team was as balanced as it was talented. There were a lot of expectations on guys like Conn Smythe winner Scotty Stevens, Brodeur, and myself, Lemieux said, but the Maddens and the Gomezes, who chipped in right at the right time of the year and in the playoffs, were valuable too. It was just a very talented team. John Madden was a very underrated forward at the time. Not underrated any longer coming out of that playoff. Pretty amazing playoff that he had, and it was a pretty amazing run. And I wasn't a Devils fan. Now, obviously, they beat Dallas and took away their chance at back-to-back Stanley Cups, which upset me. But at the same time, I liked Larry Robinson quite a bit. I liked him as a coach. And I was kind of surprised that he didn't last longer than he did. After that Stanley Cup win, things just kind of went downhill, as they do when you've won the Stanley Cup. There really isn't anywhere else to go but down. And then he's just sort of, I don't know, he didn't get another. I always figured he'd end up in Montreal as a long-term coach. And then that didn't really pan out for him. So always sort of strange to me with Robinson. And here's, I'm gonna go with this article, and this is where I'm gonna divest. How do I put this? I'm gonna disagree with opinions of some people and agree with opinions of others, because Marty Brodeur, for me, is a guy that I'm conflicted about in terms of where he stands in history. He's number one in a lot of things. But, yeah, we'll get into that in a second. Even as a rookie, legendary goaltender Marty Brodeur served notice of his eventual status as a preeminent goalie in the NHL. The first-round pick of the Devils in 1990, Brodeur posted 3 shutouts in 93-94 on his way to becoming a Calder Trophy winner. In a game on October 20th, 1993 versus Anaheim, he made 17 saves for the first of many shutouts over an illustrious career. Brodeur quickly established himself as the Devils' #1 goaltender and backstopped his team to his first Stanley Cup in '95. With tremendous reflexes and outstanding mobility, the Montreal native continued his rapid ascent up the ladder in career wins and shutouts. For 4 straight seasons ending in 2000-2001, Brodeur led the NHL in wins. In each of the latter 2 seasons, the Devils advanced to the Stanley Cup Finals. Jason Arnott's overtime goal in Game 6 in 2000 gave the franchise its second-ever championship, as I just read. New Jersey was bested in a thrilling 7-game series by Colorado the following year. Brodeur was chosen to represent his country in 2002 Olympics at Salt Lake City. In the final game, he helped Canada end a 50-year gold medal drought, making 31 saves in a 5-2 victory over the United States. One of the most fun games I've ever watched, and sadly, one of the worst days to have to work. But at the same time, when you're in a Canadian call center and you're talking to American customers, and they always ask where they're calling, and you don't tell them. You're not supposed to tell them you're in Canada. And then they hear a really loud cheer from nearby. Customer says to me, "So I'm calling Canada, huh?" I was like, "Yeah." I wasn't going to deny it. I wasn't going to pretend that I was anywhere else. I was like, "Yeah. Good game, eh? Yeah. His best stop was a brilliant toe save on American sharpshooter Brett Hull, who I hated very, very much. Not as much after he went to Dallas, but there was that toe in the crease goal. 99. So, anyways, in 2002-2003, Brodeur won his first career Vezina and also led the Devils to another Stanley Cup. At just 31 years of age, the netminder was still in the prime of his career, consistently logging 4,000 or more minutes per season. A torn bicep limited Brodeur to just 31 games in 2008-2009. However, on March 17th of that season, Brodeur earned his 552nd career win to overtake Patrick Roy on top of the all-time list. In celebration, Brodeur cut away the net that he had guarded as a keepsake. I still think if Patrick Roy had realized that Marty Brodeur was going to beat his records, I still think Patrick Roy would have stuck around longer. Within a 3-day span in 09-10, Brodeur reached 2 more milestones. On December 18th against Ottawa, he passed Roy on the games played list by making his 1,030th appearance. Then on December 21st, Brodeur registered his 104th shutout of his career to surpass Terry Sawchuk as the NHL's career leader. The achievement came in a 35-save performance as the Devils blanked Sidney Crosby and the Penguins 4-0. Terry Sawchuk set a shutout record that stood for more than 45 years and withstood the challenge of more than 500 goaltenders who've played in the National Hockey League since then, Commissioner Gary Bettman said. By surpassing that record tonight, Marty Brodeur reached yet another level of goaltending supremacy. And yet, Brodeur was a great goalie. He was one of the most resilient, hard-nosed, competitive goaltenders I've ever seen. But New Jersey had such a fantastic defense, and they only allowed 20 to 25 shots a night. Brodeur never really had to be fantastic. He had to be good. His shots were very often from the point, from the perimeter. And there's a whole website that I went through at one point, and I'm sure it's still out there, that basically cut down every record Brodeur had. I'm not doing that here because I'm not that petty. Brodeur has the shutout record for 2 reasons. One, he was fantastic at, once he reached the third with no goals allowed, you had a pretty good idea it was going to be a shutout. And also, the New Jersey defense was that damn good. And so it's a bit of both. Now, with where New Jersey is right now, it's an embarrassment of riches. So Marty Brodeur gets older, and I remember thinking, oh boy, they haven't been able, New Jersey had tried so many prospects in net. From Ari Ahonen, Scott Clemenson. They'd had a lot of guys come through who were good, but showed no promise of being a starter. Ari Ahonen never even played an NHL game. So I figured, okay, so Jersey's run of, great goaltending, excellent goaltending, wherever you want to put Brodeur in the picture, it's over. And then the Corey Schneider deal happened. Now, as a Canucks fan, I can say Bo Horvat's my favorite player. He got another goal tonight, and he got an assist, and, he's putting up points for a team that, likely doesn't make the playoffs or even get close. But if you can go back and do that trade all over again, you don't. Because you don't trade a franchise goaltender. And Corey Schneider is a franchise goaltender. I don't even need to see stats with Schneider to know he's playing well. I look at New Jersey's record and I go, okay, so Schneider's lights out. And it's funny because I knew that, and then I looked at stats this morning while I was doubled over in abdominal pain, and he's lights out. Corey Schneider is one of the best goaltenders of this generation of goalies. And New Jersey, again, showed that they can do that. They can just... It's magic for them. It doesn't hurt that they took advantage of a crappy general manager. And they did. It was a crappy general manager move in trading Schneider for the Canucks. Fantastic move for Jersey. The other thing I remember with Jersey, too, was in '94, Mark Messier famously said, "We're winning this game," and took Jersey out. And while everybody praised Messier for he guaranteed the win and he got it, I noticed that that was the last time the Rangers won anything important in the playoffs against New Jersey for quite some time, because that had to piss the Devils off. Would have pissed me off. I don't care who you are. If you go out and you say, well, I'm going to guarantee a win for my team. Who the hell are you? Like, who the hell are you to guarantee a win for your team? And it would make me angry. And I'm sure it made the Devils angry. So as great as it felt in 94 for the Rangers to hold up that Stanley Cup, I think that's why the Devils held it up in 95. It was a screw you to the Rangers as much as anything else. And it's true, the 95 team was not a very talented team. The 95 team won the Stanley Cup because Jacques Lemaire knew how to suck the life out of hockey. In 95, the Devils really perfected the trap, and they'd been playing the trap in 94 as well. When the Rangers knocked out the Devils in 94, it was the last time that the trap would be held down for a while. And it prevented other teams from starting to play the trap as much as they would later, because the Devils hadn't won with it. The Rangers with their free-flowing fast game, and the Canucks with their free-flowing fast game had made the finals, and they had this tremendous back-and-forth score fests in the finals. It was fantastic hockey. So the Devils' suffocating style hadn't taken hold yet until 95. And I remember in 95, in the finals, I wanted to cheer for these guys. I did. But my God, the games were boring. When you're, at the end of the first period and you're like, was there a whistle? It wasn't a penalty. What are the shots? And then you're like, the shots are 5-4. And you're like, oh, God, this is what the whole series is going to be like. And that's what happened. Jersey suffocated the Red Wings. Just suffocated the life out of them. And it was that style of hockey that New Jersey played under Jacques Lemaire, and later Lemaire would take that style to Minnesota. And it works. It works when your team isn't as talented as the team you're against. And that's why the Devils employed it. Yep, the Devils had Claude Lemieux. Yes, the Devils had Scott Stevens. Yes, the Devils had Marty Brodeur. But as stated in this other magazine over here, the 99-2000 Devils were more talented. And it was better hockey in 2000, but it was still Devils hockey. So when I see them doing well now, and even though Jacques Lemaire is long gone, there's always a part of me that sort of kind of gets that little twitch, like, oh God, please don't let that style of hockey come back. It was suffocating and boring. And I always wondered too, and if you're a Devils fan and you can recall 95, did the style of hockey that the Devils played to win the Stanley Cup that year, which was brutal to watch, I couldn't watch it. Did that have any dampening effect on them holding up the cup? Or is it just, I'm a fan of this team, I'm cheering, I don't care, I'm happy because my team's got the Stanley Cup? I've always kind of wondered about that. But yeah, it's a team that, their start in Kansas City and Colorado was bad. And then when they got to New Jersey, it wasn't a whole lot better. Not at the start. I mean, just looking at win totals. 15 in Kansas City, 12 in Kansas City. Move them to Denver, 20 in Denver, 19 in Denver, 15 in Denver, 19 in Denver, 22, 18, and then move them to New Jersey. 17 in New Jersey, 17 in New Jersey, 22, 28, 29, and then finally in 87-88 they got 38 wins, and they went all the way to the conference final, and in 88 it was because of Sean Burke. That was Sean Burke's rookie year, came out of nowhere, surprised everybody, and was fantastic. It's a Devil's trait that a goalie will just come out of nowhere. Pittsburgh kind of has that too. They had that with Johan Hedberg, and they had it with Matt Murray. There's sort of that same sort of thing that goes on in Pittsburgh. Frank Pietrangelo played for them. I think it was the first year Pittsburgh won the Cup, but it doesn't matter. This is the New Jersey video. Jersey had a run of 5 straight seasons with 100 points in the late 90s, early 2000s. They had their 3 Stanley Cups spanned 9 years. So they were never a dynasty, but they were never a team you wanted to play in the playoffs. I mean, the stifling play, the fact that you were going to look at probably shots of 25-20 at the end of any given game, it made it really, really hard to watch. But I will say this: the New Jersey Devils, at the time I'm recording this, which is November 13th of 2016, the Devils are in a playoff spot right now, and they have made the most out of a limited talent roster again. Thanks to Corey Schneider and some smart coaching and timely goals when necessary. The Devils might be a playoff team. It's still really early. I stated before the season started, and then again once the season got going, that I don't want to make any declarations on who is or isn't having a great season until we're 20 games in. But the Devils look good. And again, with Corey Schneider, who I think, in terms of pure talent, I think he's better than what Brodeur was. Nobody will ever equal Brodeur's records. That wins record, I can't see anybody ever equaling it. I know the shutout record will never fall. That shutout record is so damned impressive, and it makes a statement of just how great they were defensively, that many shutouts were recorded by Marty Brodeur. It is a record that I don't figure I'll see broken in my lifetime. And that's despite the fact that there are so many shutouts in hockey now. I still don't see a goaltender being able to ever equal that record. I just don't see it ever happening. I guess we'll see, though. And for games played and all those other records, I don't see anybody beating him. Marty Brodeur was capable of playing 70 games a year for year after year after year after year. I think it helped playing behind those teams in New Jersey where he'd face 20-25 shots a night. He didn't get tired out. He could play back to back. I don't remember him facing a lot of traffic up front because he had Scott Stevens and Scott Niedermayer clearing things out. There was always a great defense in New Jersey when he was there, and I think that helped him quite a bit. So, again, I don't put him as the top goaltender I've seen. I don't. To me, that's Patrick Waugh, but he is he's pretty damn good. I will admit Marty Brodeur was pretty damn good. Anyways, that's my view on the Devils. Tomorrow is the Islanders. I'm going to have some fun with the Islanders because the Islanders are a tale of 2 cities, literally, and a tale of about 4 different organizations all wrapped up into one. It feels like they went through all these different eras where things were completely different, and it has been the most bewildering tale of any of the teams that have been in the league since I was a little kid. The Islanders are the most baffling. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're passing through. And for subscribers to the channel who are watching this, I will be back again tonight to discuss scoring in the NHL. Where it is, where it's been, and what's going on right now in terms of scoring in the NHL. So, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.